So, what happens when you take one of the most powerful, chaotic, and, let's be honest, ridiculously sarcastic vampires in all of fiction, and you drop him smack dab in the middle of the single most grim, hopeless, and self-serious universe ever dreamed up? Well, we're about to find out exactly what happens when Alucard meets the 41st millennium. On one hand, you've got the 41st millennium. I mean, there is only war, humanity is clinging on by a thread, and any hint of mercy is a fatal weakness. It is the darkest timeline you can possibly imagine, a universe that has literally weaponized despair. And on the other hand, well, you've got him, the one variable this universe was absolutely, positively not prepared for. All right, so our story kicks off with Alucard materializing not on some quiet, out-of-the-way planet, but right in the heart of the storm. He's aboard a Death Guard plague ship, and he comes face-to-face with Typhus, the herald of the chaos god Nurgle himself. And Alucard's reaction is, well, it's not what you'd expect. He's surrounded by absolute filth, disease, and cosmic horror, and he's not scared. He's not disgusted. He's a fan. He's treating the literal embodiment of decay like it's the coolest, most metal thing he has ever seen. You know, this immediately throws the Plague Marines for a loop. They're used to people screaming in terror, not laughing their heads off. But Alucard, he just doubles down. He starts mocking Typhus's whole cartoon villain vibe and thinks the idea of a chaos god named Grandfather is the most precious thing he's ever heard. This isn't defiance, it's genuine, manic joy, and it is completely breaking their brains. So after just, casually dismantling a squad of Plague Marines, Alucard finally gets the attention of the big man himself. The psychic presence of Nurgle, the Lord of all decay, floods the entire ship. It's a moment that should shatter any mortal mind. But for Alucard, it's like meeting a celebrity. And this, right here, gets to the core of why chaos just can't deal with him. Alucard doesn't fear them. He analyzes them. He looks at this god of plague and rot and just concludes that the whole concept is hilarious. He turns down Nurgle's offer of power, not because he's righteous, but because he just doesn't respect the brand. So when Nurgle finally gets tired of being the butt of the joke and threatens to destroy him, Alucard decides it's probably time to show off a little. He releases just the first level of his power, unleashing this tide of souls, hellhounds, and shadows. His whole demeanor shifts as he delivers that classic line, "I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me." After getting away from the plague ship, Alucard starts to, develop a pattern. It turns out that ancient cosmic horrors who demand absolute fear and awe have literally no idea what to do with a cheerful, enthusiastic murder machine who thinks they're a comedy act. His little meeting with Nurgle really set the tone. It was amusing, sure, but Alucard was just too darn joyful for a god of decay. Then he meets Khorne, the god of blood and war. He even submits a resume, written in blood, of course. But Khorne flat out rejects him, basically saying he disrespects the sacred art of war by having way too much fun with it. He is literally too cheerful to work for the forces of ultimate evil. So after being rejected by two different chaos gods for having the wrong attitude, Alucard finally lands on an imperial hive world. He runs into the Imperium of Man and discovers a civilization that might actually be even more absurdly grim and serious than chaos itself. He's, of course, very quickly confronted by the local authorities, and after casually dealing with them, he gets the attention of an inquisitor named Vex. She shows up and tries to categorize him, placing him under arrest for a list of pretty logical crimes, and one that just perfectly defines the Imperium. And there it is again. Instead of being intimidated, Alucard is absolutely delighted. A universe so over the top, so completely committed to its own grimdark aesthetic that being sarcastic is an actual crime. He's found his new favorite theme park. And this deep, tonal clash is what makes this whole idea so fantastic. But, underneath all the jokes and the chaos, there is one thing that Alucard takes completely seriously: loyalty. His entire motivation, his whole reason for being, is to get back to his master, Integra Helsing. She's the one person who ever earned his service, and that unwavering commitment is the anchor for his entire journey. He's not just some murder hobo, he's a monster on a mission. So this all brings us to the story's climax. The Chaos Gods, having all failed to deal with Alucard on their own, do something almost unheard of. They team up. A massive, combined fleet from all four powers shows up with one very simple goal: erase this annoying vampire from existence. So, on one side of this galactic equation, you've got him, one guy, a single solitary being who has managed to annoy the most powerful entities in the entire galaxy. And what have the gods of chaos decided to throw at this one man? An entire fleet. We're talking dozens of capital ships, crewed by legions of daemons and corrupted marines, all united with the singular purpose of just destroying him. The odds aren't just impossible, they're mathematically absurd. So what is Alucard's response to these impossible odds? He just calmly walks over to an airlock, turns to his new allies, and delivers this absolutely perfect line before stepping out into the void to single-handedly attack an entire armada. It is the most Alucard moment you could possibly imagine. The battle that follows isn't really a fight. It's more like a piece of violent performance art. He treats capital ships like they're clay pigeons and demonic legions like a personal buffet. After this spectacular display of joyful carnage that leaves the Chaos Fleet completely routed, Alucard gets a lead. The Adeptus Mechanicus finds a potential way home, but it's located on a hyper-dangerous Necron tomb world. And just like that, the story shifts from an epic battle to a deeply personal quest. On this world, he comes face-to-face with an ancient Necron lord. And in what's become a familiar pattern, the million-year-old robot is so impressed and, frankly, amused by Alucard's joyful absurdity in combat that he grants him access to one of the galaxy's most powerful artifacts. And this is the emotional heart of the whole thing. The Ori can't actually transport him, but it can show him his home, and he sees Integra. She's older, but she is still relentlessly searching for him. After all this time, she hasn't given up. And seeing that, just knowing she's still waiting, gives him all the purpose he could ever need. So he can't go home. Not yet, anyway. The path is closed for now. But seeing his master is enough. It solidifies his resolve and gives him a brand new mission. He's going to keep fighting and searching and annoying this universe until it gives him exactly what he wants. And this brings us to the new status quo. The Inquisition officially designates Alucard a permanent asset. He becomes the Imperium's single most powerful, most effective, and by far most insufferable weapon against the darkness, all while continuing his own personal quest to find a way back home. Which really just leaves us with this one final thought. In a universe built entirely on despair and self-seriousness, what is the ultimate weapon? Is it a daemon? Is it a battleship? Or is it a single spark of joyful nihilism that refuses to play by the rules and just thinks the whole grim dark thing is really, really funny?